Welcome back, friends. So, a little something different today. I'm heading into Portland, downtown Portland. I haven't been down there since the riots had begun. I didn't do anything this weekend. Was trying to recover a little bit from that shoulder back injury that I had. I was hoping I was going to be feeling better today, but I'm actually feeling worse, and I can't really use it at all. So I've got a chiropractor, Dr. Paul Okamoto, who is a very talented chiropractor. I'm going to go in and see him today, and then I thought we might, since I was down there, I might run down to the courthouse and take a look at the destruction and what's going on down there, and I'll shoot some video for you guys. I don't suspect there'll be any risk. It seems at nighttime there is when all of the activity, all the rioting takes place. I've heard it's pretty calm during the day, but that will be kind of interesting to see and to share with you guys. I basically was on the couch all weekend, and gives you a lot of time to think, right, and reflect on what's going on and what's the next step. It's 2 weeks before we close on the new homestead property, and this having a major shoulder injury like this, kind of makes me wonder, what's the next step going to be, because this is the first time in my life that if I've wanted to do something, pick up a chainsaw, pick up an axe, and go do it. I've never had any limitations before, and I physically can't do that right now. So is it going to be a permanent thing? I sure hope not. But these shoulder injuries could be kind of tricky. I was thinking about that, and you kind of have to, how is that going to change a guy's life if this is a life-changing thing and you never regain the strength or mobility that you had in it before, and you need to do all this physical work? How does that change things? And I was reminded of the story. You guys know the story of Saul of Tarsus. If you don't know, this is from the New Testament. Saul of Tarsus was, he was basically the hitman for the church. He was a firebrand, very smart guy, very well educated, the right pedigree, and he had a hatred for the early Christian church and for those people that followed Jesus. He even went to the chief priest and got a letter, basically giving him the ability to have arrest powers and to persecute and to drag people kicking and screaming out of their home and condemn them, throw them in jail. And he was going about and doing his best from town to town to town to round up all of those people that had been the early followers of the church, as they called it back in that day. Before they were Christians, they were called followers of the way. Interesting story. So he was on the way with his soldiers and his entourage, and he was really going to wreak some havoc on the early church. And then we have the story of the Damascus Road story, where God appeared to him, knocked him off his horse, and struck him with blindness, right? Struck him with blindness. He couldn't see. His friends led him into a place, and there he didn't eat or drink for, 3 days or so, contemplating his life decisions. Now, I'm not in any way comparing myself to Paul, but we do have these stories to help us to understand how God, how he works with people, and there is a lot of benefit in that for us. And I was just thinking, as we know, later on, when Paul completely made a transformation, and instead of persecuting the early church, he ended up becoming, he wrote most of the New Testament. He became a powerful soldier for Christ. But one thing that was interesting about that story is that God afflicted him with an injury or with a disability for some particular reason. And I think the argument can be made, and I think most theologians would agree on this. What Paul's disability is God took away his eyesight. Now, he wasn't completely blind, but he wasn't able to see very well. And there is, that's an interesting thing. And that was such a problem for Paul that he begged God 3 different times, please take this thorn away from me. Take this thorn, this disability away from me. And I like to speculate sometimes that Paul in his own mind was thinking that, man, if I could have my eyesight back, if I didn't have to rely upon people to lead me around and tell me who I'm talking to and tell me where to go, just think about think about how effective I could be for God. That was the way he saw it. Well, God saw it differently. And God said something to him that was so interesting. When Paul begged him 3 times to remove this burden from me, God responded and said, speak to me no more of this. My grace is sufficient for thee. And that was it. We never hear Paul complaining about it anymore. So why did God do that? Why did God put this impediment upon Paul? Wouldn't he have been more effective if he would have been able to see better and be his own man and be whole, right? Well, maybe not. You take guys like that have there's a lot of pride that comes in a guy like that. When you have someone that has the capability of doing a lot of evil, he also has the capability of doing a lot of good. And maybe God knew Paul's character and knew that had Paul been able to do everything on his own without help from others and without help from God, maybe he would have become puffed up with pride and started taking credit for all of the amazing miracles and all of the things that he had done through the power of God. We just don't really know. But that saying is interesting. My grace is sufficient for thee. Speak to me no more of these things. Guy has to kind of wonder, is the next chapter in life, maybe that's not including running out chainsaws or splitting firewood. Maybe there is something else in store for a guy, and how do you know, and how do you embrace that, and how do you do it without having resentment or looking back with too much fondness of when you're able to do things that you're not able to do now. It's hard, it's kind of hard to say. So I don't know, but a guy does think about these things when you're hurting and you're not able when you're not able to even lift your arm up and to even do the most basic things like put your socks on, right? So we'll go see Dr. Paul and see if he can't perform another miracle as he's done so many times with me, and get back to normal. But do please keep me in your prayers. May God bless you and your families. There might be sorry, I'm drifting off here. We'll do another video when we get over there to Portland and see what it looks like. So keep us in your prayers. Thanks, guys.